Hey folks, a lot of excellent comments on the COVID CPAP pre-oxygenation setup. Some of them based on reality, some of them not as much. You can see a lot of those comments in the show notes for that video. But what I wanted to talk to you about today is one of the major objections to the setup was the nasal cannula, and people were worried about the slight potential of leak around the sides of the mask. Now, of course, it was pretty much irrelevant because it would have been less than what you would have been doing, which is a non-rebreather mask, which would have had far more leak at far higher flow rates. But, you know, can we make things better even if they were good enough? Well, yes, we can occasionally gild the lily. So for today, we have the new improved COVID pre-oxygenation setup. So here it comes. All right, so you go into the patient's room, and again, this time you just put on the non-invasive mask with the filter already attached. You don't need to put on nasal cannula on now. And when you're ready to pre-oxygenate, just take your BVM with the end-tidal CO2 port closed off. And now this is providing, hook this up to wall oxygen, at least, 15, 25 liters, and let the patient breathe. And now they're breathing 100% FiO2. And, we have our PEEP valve at 0, but let's say we wanted some PEEP. So dial it up to whatever you want. On this patient, let's say we wanted 10. Well, you're going to need an oxygen source. If you don't believe me, I have another video I just put up on YouTube that will show you why you need a secondary post-stem oxygen source in order to pressurize the PEEP valve. Now, we were providing that with nasal cannula, but people don't want the nasal cannula. They want a total seal. All right, no problem. So we have that end-tidal CO2 port. That's not just for end-tidal CO2 for this method. We're going to take the lure lock. This is all filtered. People are like, oh no, the end-tidal is going to leak. This is already post-patient filter. So this air that comes out here is filtered air. And what you're going to do is you're going to attach a multi-purpose adapter, which adapts any form of tube, whether it be suction tubing, in this case oxygen tubing, to, in my version, a male lure. A bunch of different companies make these, and put that on there. And then attach that secondary set of tubing to wall oxygen at 4 to 6 liters. And generally 4 will get you there for anything up to like 10 of PEEP. If you're going on higher PEEPs, you probably want to go up to the 6. But I have a video demonstrating that either 4 or 6 gets the job done. It's just how quickly the PEEP gets reobtained. So 6 is probably a very nice place. Now let's say you don't have those adapters, or you had those adapters but you ran out. Okay, this is a stopgap. This is not as great, but oxygen tubing will fit the female port of a three-way stopcock in almost every case. You have to really work to jam it in there, but it will fit if you push hard enough on most of the oxygen tubing and most of the three-way stopcocks. And then make sure the selector on the three-way is aimed towards the empty hole, so that's off. And then plug that in to your end-tidal CO2 port. Wow, doing this one hand is not as easy as you may think. And now you're again providing your oxygen, 4 to 6 liters. Now, this will give very slight clean oxygen leak right here at the interface. Most of it is going into the system, so you might want to go a little bit higher, so maybe air towards that 6, maybe even 7 or 8, because there is going to be some leak. You'll hear it. You'll know how much leak there is if you put your finger over just put your finger over this and hear how much leak your individual setup has when it's fully occluded. And it's going to be less when it's actually on this system. But there will be leak, and you'll get a quantification of how much just by occluding like that. All right, now, this is built for pre-ox, but this can definitely be used for non-invasive ventilation with an incredible degree of safety. So if I was not in a negative pressure room, this is the setup I'd want on my patient, because it is providing CPAP without the potential for high flow aerosolization. The only flow of any significance going in is 6 liters, the equivalent of a nasal cannula, and it is filtered. So the only leak in the room is whatever's coming on the sides of these masks. And now without the nasal cannula there, that leak is that much less. So again, peer review the setup, but I think it's getting to the point where this may be the way to pre-oxygenate And potentially, if you run out of ventilators or run out of negative pressure rooms and want to provide CPAP in a way that is, I think, the safest way possible, this is the setup. Let me know what you think. All right, kiddo, what do you think about the setup?
Good.
Wow. All right, well, I get the thumbs of approval of the toughest audience out there. Say hi to the folks out there.
Hi.
What's your name?
Mace.
And what do you do?
YouTube.
All right, well, there you go. Bye-bye, folks.